Welcome to this video on Speaking and Listening Standard 1.4. We will discuss listening critically. We will be covering the core standards in speaking and listening. Initiate and participate effectively in a range of collaborative discussions, one-on-one, in groups, and teacher-led, with diverse partners on grades 9 through 10 topics, texts, and issues, building on others' ideas and expressing their own clearly and persuasively. Respond thoughtfully to diverse perspectives, summarize points of agreement and disagreement, and when warranted, qualify or justify their own views and understanding, and make new connections in light of the evidence and reasoning presented. We will be covering the following: analyzing literal meaning of speakers' words, identifying information presented in a discussion, evaluating information according to techniques used in presenting information. You've probably been listening to people speak since you were born, and most likely have a good idea of how to figure out what people are saying and what they mean when they speak. What is listening critically? You can judge the validity of the words that a speaker in a discussion is saying by listening critically. It helps you analyze and evaluate the meanings of what is being said in a group discussion. There are techniques used by speakers or even writers to communicate their ideas to an audience. One is using fact and opinion. Speakers also use denotation and connotation, euphemisms, and self-important language. Let's discuss fact and opinion. A fact is something that can be verified as true or something that actually happened. An opinion is someone's feeling or judgment about something. If a speaker identifies something he or she says as an opinion, that you know that you are not expected to believe it as a fact. The speaker must support the opinion with pertinent facts to make it valid or believable. How does the speaker support the information that is presented as fact or opinion? You can verify facts by checking a reference material. The speaker must support his or her opinion with facts before you can accept it as a valid opinion. For fact, to put a satellite in space, a rocket must travel fast enough to escape the Earth's gravity. And here's an example of an opinion. A mechanical flaw in a spacecraft could threaten an astronaut's life is an opinion. Denotation is the literal meaning of a word. Connotation is a word's suggested meaning and the associations that the word has. A speaker can use the connotation of a word to make the listener feel or think the same way. If a speaker uses connotation to distort the truth and sway the listener, this is a dishonest use of connotation. Here's an example of connotation from a speech given by a candidate for office of a student body. My opponent has a useless plan for solving the problem our school has. He wants to sit down and do a flimsy study of the problems rather than acting like a true American and getting right to work. By calling the person's plan useless, the study flimsy, and the person not a true American, the speaker has tried to persuade the listener emotionally by the use of words with unfavorable connotations rather than by a logical argument. A euphemism is a word or expression that is used to avoid speaking directly about something that is unpleasant or improper. Sometimes a speaker may use a euphemism to avoid the negative reaction that the more accurate word might have on the listener. An example of a euphemism is a quote from George Orwell that is used to conceal the real intention behind a speaker's words. Self-important language or inflated language is language that consists of words and overly long phrases that are scholarly, technical, or scientific. Like a euphemism, inflated language conceals rather than reveals the ideas behind the words. An example of self-important language is the passage written by a lawyer where it illustrates a humorous way of the legal language to obscure and confuse meaning. A man who gives you an orange simply says, "Have an orange." A lawyer on an entrusted transaction will adopt this form: I hereby give and convey to you, all in singular, my estate and interest, right and claim, and advantages of, and in said orange, together with its rind, skin, juice, pulp, and pips, and all the rights and advantages therein, and full power to bite, suck, or otherwise eat the same, or give the same away, without the rind, skin, pulp, and pips, anything hereinbefore or hereinafter, or in any other means of whatever nature or kind whatsoever, to the contrary, in any wise notwithstanding. Why is this important? Listening critically helps you in order to analyze and evaluate a speaker's words. The techniques and understanding on how they can be used or misused can help you listen critically. We use this skill every day, especially in important discussions. Listening critically would help you respond thoughtfully to discussions in diverse perspectives, summarize points of agreement and disagreement, and when warranted, qualify or justify their own views and understanding, and make new connections in light of the evidence and reasoning presented. Let's do an activity. Choose a situation where you would practice your critical listening skills. Analyze and evaluate what you hear for the use of techniques discussed in this session. Be specific in pointing out which words or phrases are examples of each techniques, then rephrase each example to reveal the intended meaning. Why do we have to listen critically? It helps us improve our listening skills. It does not mean that you find fault with the speaker, but you analyze, evaluate, and verify information that you hear and accept whether it is valid or not. Why do we need to know the techniques in listening critically? It helps you to understand how speakers communicate their ideas to an audience and how they can use and misuse any information. Listening critically helps you respond, agree or disagree, qualify and justify your own views from the information presented by the speaker. As a student, you're expected to respond thoughtfully to diverse perspectives, summarize points of agreement and disagreement, qualify or justify your own views and understanding, make new connections in light of the evidence and reasoning presented. We've come to the end of our session. We have discussed listening critically to analyze and evaluate the speaker's words in a discussion, techniques in listening critically to verify information being presented. By the end of this session, you should know or be able to do the following. Analyze literal meaning of speaker's words. Identify information presented in a discussion. Evaluate information according to techniques used in presenting information. This information should help improve your speaking and listening skills. Good luck with your speech.